Chat. TATT Chat. That's hard to say 3 times in a row. This is our second one of the month, and we are, I see more people are joining, and hopefully we'll have some more. I hope everybody, we were just talking before about the weather. It seems like we've had the last couple of weeks, winter, spring, summer, and fall, all within a couple of weeks. But that's the good thing about living in upstate. Today we have an agenda similar to agendas that we've had over the last several months, where we have a guest presentation and we have some county updates, and Dean will give us an update. But today I'm glad to introduce to you one of our guys, our Tri-County guys, in Anderson, Oconee, Pickens, Dr. Galen DeHay. And a lot of you know Galen, and I won't take up time to give his bio, but in regards to being at an institution and higher education, he is one of our shining stars, and I'm interested to see what he has to tell us today. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Galen.
Let me first unmute and admit a few other people here, and then I can share my screen. Thank you for taking some time to listen to what's going on with Tri-County Technical College. For those of you who may not be as aware of where we're located, if you are in other parts of the upstate of South Carolina, where our home base or main campus, if you will, is in Pendleton. And we've got a number of locations. Our newest location we just opened up almost 2 years ago now in Oconee County at the in Westminster, right off of Highway 11. So we've got locations in all of our service area counties and great partnerships with business and industry. So I'm gonna give you a little brief presentation on what we've been doing to continue advancing our mission and our vision while dealing with COVID-19. So with that, I believe that my screen should be shared now. You should see a big old picture of the coronavirus and TCTC Strong, Our Path Forward. I've tried to summarize my comments here by answering 3 questions that I've been asked a good bit over the past few weeks or really months. And that is, how are we doing in keeping students safe while still advancing our mission? What are the challenges that lay before us, and what are the things we're doing to address those? And then in these times in particular, why are community colleges a good decision? So I'm going to try to answer those things for us over the next few minutes. So as I move into some of the things we've been working on immediately, we started with COVID-19 hitting us with 3 major priorities. We kind of shoved a lot of things to the side, and we're working on 3 very important things that continue to be a primary focus for us. One is creating a safe on-campus learning and working environment. That's really important for our students and the population that we serve, because we have students on campus anywhere from dual enrollment that are 16 and 17 years old, all the way to individuals that are adult learners that are returning to college to change careers or to continue to grow and learn, and they can be in their late 60s and 70s, all in the same classroom. That's the beauty about a community college. And they all really want and desire the face-to-face environment. They really appreciate that kind of environment. So we've been having to do a good bit of work and trying to find ways to provide as much of that as possible while being safe. So balancing that working and learning environment or safe learning and working environment has been important for us. Second is we had to make sure that while we do all of this work, that we don't sacrifice quality. And then third, our students require a good bit of support We serve a variety of students that are under-resourced. Over 40% of our students are on Pell, and that is a need-based federal grant. So that gives you an idea of the diverse population that we serve. And they need a lot of student support, and many of them aren't coming to campus as much. So we had to figure out ways to build in that support for them into their classes so that they could be successful. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a summary on how we've been doing related to that. So first, what are we doing to keep people safe while still advancing our learning and workforce mission? One thing we did was restructure everything that we do to deliver instruction differently in the fall. So we've got literally 8 different ways of delivering instruction in the fall. We restructured all of our courses based on the program and the type of student we serve in those programs. So if they're in a mechatronics program, they are coming in small groups of about 10 or so face-to-face. If they are in arts and sciences, they're coming in maybe once a week in groups of 8 to 10, hybrid, and then streaming live the other courses. So that and then we've got everything in between that. So lots of different methods, and we really tried to match that with the type of things that we teach, the programs that we teach, and then the students that are in those programs, doing our best to match that. We also redesigned and implemented a virtual enrollment experience. As a state institution, we were limited this summer on the number of individuals that we could gather, and we made a choice not to have face-to-face things like orientation and advising. So we had to develop an entire online, live, virtual enrollment experience. Imagine bringing in your students and figuring out ways to do that on the fly. We were able to retrain or train faculty and success coaches and advisors on how to do that very effectively, all within weeks. And then we were able to implement a variety of student supports into classes. Some examples where we embedded librarians into classes that use heavy library resources. So instead of a student being able to go over to the library, we actually embedded them into the course so that students could get the service they needed live in real time. We did that with tutoring too. We did embedded tutoring and continue to do that into the courses. So many of those online courses or hybrid courses have all those supports. So we did not sacrifice like other institutions that I've heard of around outside of South Carolina. They kind of gave up on some of the things that they know work because they had to quickly adapt, but we did not do that. So I'm very proud of the faculty and the staff of the college for still providing our students with these really high quality experiences. We doubled down on our communication. We held virtual town halls with both employees and students, a number of them. Imagine like a political town hall where people can ask live questions. That's what we did. So people could ask whatever they wanted, and as long as it was moral, ethical, then I answered it right away in front of everyone. So we were able to keep that information flowing freely. We created weekly blog style messages. I captured a few of the screens. We do this every week. We branded it a weekly edge. And we have a student edition and an employee edition. And we give blog style communication to keep everybody up to date on things that are going on with health and safety reminders, ways to get connected, ways to get resources. So this was a great way for us to be able to continue to adapt the way we communicate. And then I normally was allowing open office hours in my office face-to-face before all of this started. So we converted that to virtual open door discussions with me. So those are published, as you can see in that example screenshot there, every week. People can join and ask questions and or just catch up on things they want me to know about. So making sure that communication was occurring and continues to occur. We made a bunch of adaptations for our employees, implementing a variety of environmental controls before everybody returned to campus. We, on average, have somewhere between 40 and 50% of our employees on campus on any given day. So we've done a good job of mixing this telework with the ability to come on campus for those who need to do so. We were able to deploy a variety of IT services on all the laptops, and all employees now have laptops. We used to have some that had desktops. Now they all have laptops, and they've got a program now where you can actually make phone calls via the computer, and it is exactly as if you would have called from your office. So some of those frontline staff who may not have had that or needed the ability to work from home to stay safe can still get their work done and answer phone calls and respond to people. So those are, as you can see, I mean, this really runs the gamut. We basically redesigned or restructured our entire operations, which has been fun to say the least. We were able to transition things like all of our employee recruiting to online virtual job fairs, drive-in job fairs for students. So we were able to continue our operations. And then one way that we've been able to keep very nimble is we formed a planning task force, and that planning task force is made of individuals across the campus in a variety of different roles. They were organized into teams based on our priorities, and they came up with initiatives or actions that we needed to take. So we built off of the wisdom of the college, and then they implement those things. So we were able to leverage the wisdom of the employees, the faculty and staff of the college, and they did a lot of contingency planning and new initiative implementation. So that helps us to remain nimble. And then we have a coordinating group, and they meet every single week just to talk about what's going on, what issues are emerging, what we need to respond to. We also were able to serve students differently by creating a workforce completion fund for ongoing emergency needs. I think I communicated to some of you earlier this year that from the CARES Act funding, Tri-County got $2.1 million of emergency funds to deploy to our students. We did that within 2 weeks. Some colleges, by the way, are still working on deploying those funds. We got it done in 2 weeks, and we knew that our students needed more. So our foundation created a workforce completion fund that is helping to meet continuing ongoing emergency fund needs for our students so they can stay enrolled. So as we look ahead, what's going on and how are we going to continue to adapt to meet our mission, something I've used in a variety of communications that I've made since my presidency of, as our communities change, they need Tri-County differently. In particular, the individuals that have been the hardest hit by this pandemic have been those that are lower income people, and also our students of color, our Hispanic students, and our African-American students have been disproportionately impacted, as well as our lower income students, and they need us differently than they've ever needed us before. So we're working to find ways to partner with organizations outside the college and do more for our different communities so that we can continue to advance our mission. So we got a lot of challenges ahead. Because of the students that we serve, there are a variety of barriers for them to attend. I was mentioning before this started, a number of our students, and particularly our under-resourced populations, do not do well online. The issue is not broadband access. The issue is online delivery does not equal online learning. And a couple of, one real example of that is some parents who are students at Tri-County shared with us that they come to Tri-County because that is their place to come and learn. And now that their children are at home learning, they are having to take care of their learning needs and they don't have a place to learn. So that's a huge barrier of attendance that we're having to figure out how in the world do we overcome that. There are a variety of equity gaps that have been uncovered as a result of the pandemic that we're working to close with some partners. Of course, businesses and industries are rapidly changing. This pandemic has brought on a good bit of automation. Healthcare is talking about ways to leverage IT and to move things faster. You see telehealth, for example. You see it in advanced manufacturing where they're talking about accelerating automation. And what does that mean for programs that we offer? How do we help them do that so that they can accelerate and change in this COVID economy? The economic impact of COVID-19 is a big challenge for us too. As a state agency who receives state funds, we watch very closely those revenues that come in from the state overall. And while the upstate of South Carolina is doing pretty well with economic development and workforce development, other parts of the state that rely on people coming in and visiting, like Charleston, tourism and things of that nature, aren't doing as well. And that impacts all of us. So that impacts our funding as a state institution. And then just in general, there's a lot of uncertainty about what's coming next. How do you continue to adapt? So one thing that we've been doing is talking about resilience. How do we help to grow or continue to build resilience in our institution? And then how might we be able to help our communities be more resilient with the worst pandemic since 1918, economic crisis and downturn not seen since the Great Recession, and then a good bit of social unrest that's occurring. How can we, and what's our role as an institution in helping our students and our communities be more resilient? So our priorities as we move forward are to find ways to make college fit better in our students' very complex lives. How are we going to adapt how we do things? How do we continue to make sure that we're focusing on our workforce pipeline and expanding that? I had the pleasure today of going to Arthrex in Anderson County. They signed this morning our state's first youth apprentice in conjunction with Tri-County that is funded by a U.S. Department of Labor grant. So we've got a goal at the college right now of having in the next number of years 100 youth apprenticeship companies signed on. So that's a new or expanding way of developing workforce in conjunction with school districts like District 5 and great companies like Arthrex that provide new career pathways. We need to do more than that. How do we build new partnerships and paths for students? Adapt to meeting these business and industry needs, and all the while strengthening our relationships in our communities. So to me, while there's a great deal of crisis still going on, there's a lot of opportunity. And I think community colleges like Tri-County remain a great choice. I think we're a great choice in these times, particular because of, number one, our quality. Our programs and the partnerships that we have with businesses and industries lead to great careers that pay family sustaining wages. That's how we define our success, is by our students' success and their ability to leave Tri-County and have a career that provides a family sustaining wage for their people. So partnerships like those that we've got with Duke Energy and Blue Ridge Electric and power lineman programs and school district partnerships and technical career pathways all provide those quality academic programs that are structured to help our students. And then the other reason that we're a great choice is support. We find ways to support our students and help them balance school, work, and family. One example is we just received a U.S. Department of Education grant to fund childcare for our students who are parents in need. So we're going to be able to substantially reduce the cost to very minimal cost for up to 90 or so parents in our community for 4 years. which is going to help support them to achieve their goals. Cost-wise, we remain, I looked it up just last week, the second lowest tuition and fee cost in the state of South Carolina, Tri-County. And the financial aid packages that we offer cover the full cost of tuition and fees. So people talk about free college and the need for free college. It's actually already here in your backyard. So quality, support, and cost are three big ones. The relevance that we maintain with our industry, our recognized certifications, and our partnerships with companies that help us to remain relevant are a fourth reason. Our transfer agreements with places like Anderson University that make it really seamless for our students to be able to continue their education into four-year colleges and universities. And by the way, our students that transfer to these places, like for example, Clemson, have the same graduation rate as if they had started that university. So there's no drop in quality. And then finally, pathways. We have programs and services that help maximize our students' potential so that they're never pigeonholed. So I'm going to end with a little story that illustrates that. This is a student, Jack Brissy. He is a student that started in one of our dual enrollment programs. He earned in his dual enrollment program 2 college certificates through our Technical Career Pathways program. He was able to complete those 2 certificates, which is 1/2 of the associate's degree, for free. And then he came to Tri-County, and then in about a year earned his associate's degree in industrial electronics. He decided that he wanted to go to Clemson, was admitted to Clemson through the Bridge to Clemson program, through scholarships and financial aid packages. He completed that for free. So he matriculated to Clemson with a college degree and half of his bachelor's degree, close to half of his bachelor's degree completed at 0 cost, debt-free. And he's finishing up his degree at Clemson University. So truly, this student was able to figure out what his real potential was and be able to get something that he could apply throughout the rest of his life while learning about a goal that he never even knew that he had, or an opportunity that he never knew he had, all in his backyard at Tri-County. So I think that's a great way to end this and see what questions you might have or what comments you might have.
Thank you, Galen. I think very contributor there, and we definitely appreciate the way you are helping our upstate students learn. So I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll go on with the agenda. Dean, your update?
Yes, thank you. And we're going to start, Justine, if you could put the polling question out to everyone. First question, I'm sure everyone is aware there is an election in a week and a half. And so we'd like to know if you have voted already, or if you intend to vote. And as Justine said, if anyone answers on that one, number 4, which is no, I'm not voting, then we can't really help you. And then the second question is related to our event coming up on November 18th. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. So Justine, if you would put the poll out to everyone.
It's rolling. We've got 24 of 30. It's looking like most everybody is planning to do the live and in person on November 3rd.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Let me share it.
Yes.
Alrighty, so everyone should be able to see we've got 16% have absentee voted by mail, 24% early voting. I wanted to put another question, how long did you wait in line? But I won't, because I know it was long. And then 60% will be going on the 3rd. And Dean, you will be happy to know that 0 have answered number 4. And then we have you registered for Celebrating Upstate Unsung Heroes virtual event? 24% said yes, they're looking forward to it, and 76% need you to tell them about it.
Great. Well, and Erica, if you will share with everyone the link, and there it is. So I've mentioned this before. We annually do our Celebrating Successes event towards the end of the year, recognizing individuals and organizations and businesses across the upstate. And obviously this year, with circumstances, instead of all of us getting a great meal at the Greenville Convention Center, we will instead be virtual for this event with a live stream program. But we want to make sure this is a very interactive event. We're going to start at 11 o'clock with networking for a half an hour. You come early to an event and you get to hang out and talk to people. So we're going to do that around a number of topics across the upstate, and you'll get to choose which one you want to participate in. And then at 11:30, we will start the live stream program, and we have a couple of awards that we give every year, the Welling Award for Regionalism, and then the Burdett Leadership Award. And then we felt this year it was appropriate with all that's going on. We hear about essential workers and about unsung heroes. And so we asked folks in the community to give us nominations for unsung heroes in the upstate. And the deadline was last week, and we had 132 different individuals who were nominated. So we are going to be recognizing all of them in a number of ways. But then we are selecting 10, one per county, and we're going to especially recognize them during the event. So it's going to be really neat and exciting. We also have a particular business in the upstate that has really dealt with even more than COVID and shown the definition of resilience. And we're excited to be recognizing that business as well. And some of you probably easily can figure out what business that is, but it is going to be, just a great and exciting event. We're going to have, again, some interactive opportunities with everyone. So I hope if you have not registered that you will register for the live stream and for the event on November 18th. Also, if Erica, if you would put, we have, a lot of workshops and events from our committees and task forces that are going on right now. Next week is particularly busy. We have the Upstate Professional Planners Group is meeting, and then most of you are aware that we convene and are the coordinator of the air quality district, this particular council for DHEC in South Carolina. And we're having the annual meeting of that group, and it's open to anyone who is interested in air quality next week as well. And we have the head of the DHEC Bureau of Air Quality will be our special guest. And then we also have a update on the air quality monitors for this quarter, or for this year. So that all of that information is available in the chat to link to. And with that, Justine, I will turn it over to you for our county updates.
All right. We are thankful to have from Anderson County, Mr. Steve Neal from Anderson University is going to give us an update on what's happening there. Sorry you don't get 20 minutes like Dr. DeHay did.
That's okay. I don't mind at all. I would say a lot of what I would say are very, close to what Galen was saying as far as the school goes. Last year, when this all broke, it was right after spring break. And so we never came back from spring break and had to convert all of our online teaching, or our seated classes to online classes, which was, quite an endeavor, I guess I'd say. Then through the summer, the university was unable, there were no camps. And of course, that's a lot of revenue for the school. We have camps, at least one camp every week during the summer. So there was no revenue from that. There were also, I guess, some reimbursements made as a result of of having online classes, and that hit the university financially pretty hard. You know, it's something you're not expecting. However, the good news is that this fall, and we had no idea what to expect in the fall, but what we've seen is actually a 7% increase in our overall enrollment for the year, or for the fall, which now brings us to 3,848 students, which we are the largest private uh, university in the state of South Carolina now. And so we're very proud about that. Even the boarding students, the ones that want to live on campus, is up 5% since last year. So that's really a nice thing. The other thing is that our retention rate of students, and this is quite amazing considering the times that we live in, is at 84.4%, which is the highest retention rate we've ever had. So it's kind of contrary, I guess, to the norm that many universities, colleges, technical schools are experiencing. Also our diversity is at 18%, so that's the highest diversity rate we've ever had. So all those numbers, are very important. Of course, I think the economic impact Anderson University on the community in Anderson is somewhere around $6 or $7 to $10 million a year. I believe I'm right on that. You can correct me, Terrence, if I'm wrong, but I think that's about the economic impact of the university. So it's fairly substantial. We have been on instituted classes this fall. We thought it was important, to Galen's point, to have students be seated. The difficulty of it is that we had to convert many of our classrooms. We're doing social distancing. And by the way, for COVID activity, because that may be on your mind, we're running about a 1% positive rate at any one time among the students. And we do have them housed separately. And we also have the ones that are quarantined because of contact with them housed separately to keep COVID cases to a minimum. So 1% is a very light COVID caseload. I think we'll make it to the end of our class time, which will be November the 24th, right before Thanksgiving. So we didn't have a fall break. We started 1 week early. We didn't take Labor Day off or anything because we want to keep the students as close as possible so they're not dispersing all over the state and all over the nation and then coming back in and possibly causing a COVID outbreak. So that's kind of where we are. The classes, we've been doing physical distancing in the classes, which makes it difficult to some degree, because what you're having to do is, if you have, for example, I'm teaching a class and the class will hold 28 people, you can socially distance, and I've got 33. So what I'm doing is and this is I use this as an example, but we split the class. So half the class can attend on Tuesdays, half the class can attend on Thursdays. There's a live Zoom, it's recorded, it's posted along with the presentation, PowerPoint, whatever that's done that day. And it seems to be working out well. I mean, we track the test scores and things like that. They seem to be consistent. So we're not seeing any kind of dilution in the scores anyway. And hopefully the learning is as good as it was before. But that, in a nutshell, is kind of where we are. But we were very thankful for the situation we have, because it could be obviously a lot worse. There's been several universities around the country that are not going to survive the COVID crisis.
Thank you so much. The interesting statistics. Okay, from Greenville County, we've got Caroline Robertson, right? Not Carolyn Robertson, from Greer Relief.
Yes, so we're very blessed here in Greer. We have been the recipient of a lot of resources to be able to help our neighbors in need with their both utility bills and rent assistance. So not only have the utility companies been kind of at a holding pattern, as well as the landlords, but we have been able to help our neighbors during this time. And not having closed during COVID, we've been able to use that time very wisely and be able to answer a lot of those needs and be able to answer the call and help our neighbors. And so we've been able to take our time and get the resources and get the documentation needed for our funders and be able to help our neighbors and help them a lot more than typical. So typically we've been able to help with maybe 1 month of utilities, maybe 1 month of 1 month of rent. We've been able to do a lot more than that. So we've been able to help with several months of rent, sometimes several months of mortgage assistance as well, of course, different cases, and utility assistance as well. So we're very blessed with that assistance to have been granted for us to be able to answer those needs. Of course, we've been dealing with COVID in our own space in our own way. So trying to manage that and balance that challenge has been not fun. So I know we all have been challenged in that way, but we're blessed to be able to have a good team to be able to continue to answer the call and need of our community. I do want to say we do have an increased need of, I'm hiring right now. So if anybody knows of somebody, I'm looking for a data entry person to kind of help us with a lot of the increased need for data and putting it in. It's a cloud-based system, so they don't even need to be on site once they're trained up. So if anybody's looking for maybe a 10 or 15 hour a week, could be done on the weekend kind of position, I am hiring, and it'll be probably at least the next year, if not longer. Then also we are gearing up for our last fundraiser, the Greer Christmas Parade. So I know a lot of the parades have been canceled, and we are hopefully not going to fall victim to that. So we are gearing up for the Greer Christmas Parade on December 6th. So looking forward to that with practicing good social distancing and mask wearing where social distancing is not available. So we're very excited to continue to move forward, and we are the planners for that event.
Thank you. You're getting so many nice comments in the chat. You'll have to take a look at that.
Oh, wonderful.
Thanks very much. Okay,
Thank you very much.
Sure. Next up, we have Stephen Gilbert from Greenwood Community Theater. We're feeling for those in the entertainment business and are hoping that it can get back to some kind of normal eventually. Stephen, are you there?
I'm here, Justine. Thank you for that. This is a tough time in the entertainment industry. The last thing we were able to produce on stage was A Raisin in the Sun the first weekend of March, and we've been dark since. We have partnered with a couple of different agencies in Greenwood to have a few outdoor concerts. We're going to try an outdoor presentation of Charlie Brown Christmas one weekend in December as an outreach for our literacy themed program, where we work with the schools and lesson plans and encourage the children to read books. And then they get to come out and see a performance. And that's something we usually do a couple times a year, and we have not been able to do that. The two biggest challenges right now we have obviously are funding. We have, without being able to produce any shows, we don't have really a good source of income. The other struggle is really trying to figure out when to reopen. By the governor's rules, we can reopen at 50% capacity right now, but I don't know how many people want to come sit in an enclosed space for 2 hours when you can't social distance on stage, you can't wear masks on stage. And so it's a struggle trying to gauge people's willingness to come back and not wanting to do it too early, but also not wanting to play into the fear too much and hold on too long. So those are our two biggest challenges right now.
Well, thank you. We wish you the best of luck, and let us know if you come up with any new ideas we can get out there for you.
Thank you, Justine.
Yep.
Stephen, before you go on, Justine, I have a quick question. I know at one time y'all were doing the online series with other theaters. How did that go, and are you continuing that, or what's the status of that project?
Dean, we were, and we did it, I think about probably 10 to 12 weeks. What we found, it was successful in the beginning, but there are so many theaters that have put online content out there. Even a lot of the professional theaters have released some of their shows. So what we were able to put out really did not pique people's interest. You know, we were not able to record shows before COVID hit because of copyright laws. So we really didn't have anything to showcase or to, you know, to show off our work beforehand. So then we had to kind of improvise and have almost cabaret type performances. And, you know, we're trying to do everything we can. And yes, I just saw that comment, and I've been working on that application all day today. Hopefully we can apply for that and be accepted. It would be a gracious help right now. So yeah, that's kind of where things stand, Dean. We do have a local production company called Custom Audio that has set up in the theater, and they are live streaming concerts every weekend. They're getting bands from all over the state, and they've come in and their live streaming is called Hometown Hodges. And so they've got concerts every weekend, and they're going to be starting back the middle of November. No attendance, you know, no audience, but they've had some really good concerts there that they're streaming live. So we're still trying to use our building for community good. So we're trying to make lemonade out of lemons.
Great. Well, we very much support and appreciate everything Steve and I, of course, have been in my family to some of your productions. They are amazing, as are those of other theaters in the region. So as Justine said, anything we can do to help support you all, please let us know.
Thank you so much. And thank you for letting me speak today.
Thank you. Okay, let's have from Oconee County, Suzette Cross from Blue Ridge Arts Council is going to tell us what's going on there.
Hi, Justine. Can you see me?
Yes, we can hear you and see you.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Thank you for giving me a chance to talk a little bit about the Blue Ridge Arts Center. We are in Seneca, which is in Oconee County. And we got involved with TATT Chat real quickly in 2014 when we got one of the very first grants to do outdoor artwork. And so our art center partnered with the city of Seneca, with the school district of Oconee County, and our art center. And we created 12 metal cats that are scattered throughout the city of Seneca. And you can go on a scavenger hunt to find them. And these were made by Hamilton Career Center welding students. The 12 of them were cut out. And then we had benches, 8 benches that were made by the woodworking students at Hamilton Career Center. And those have a themed all aboard theme on them because there's 4 or 5 trains that go through Seneca every day. And so those are around the city of Seneca. And then we have 2 incredible murals, one that says, welcome to Seneca with great big letters spelling out Seneca, and then 3 murals that were done by high school students. So that's what got us involved with TATT Chat, and we were grateful for that money. And then in 2017, we got some more money to do something called Monarch Park that we're still working on. That's more artwork. It's a large mural. So we've been involved with TATT Chat since that time. But Justine said, so what have you been doing lately? Well, it's not as much fun to report on that. Back in August, we had a big windstorm that came through Seneca that knocked a big oak tree down on our building. And we're in the oldest church in Seneca. We're on the National Register of Historic Places. So this tree collapsed on our roof, a gigantic oak tree, and did a fair amount of damage, especially to a historic building. Well, we had that taken care of, repaired. We had a fundraiser and got a lot of community involvement then, and that was wonderful. We didn't have to close for too long. Well, then on April 13th, as most of you may know, we had a horrible, horrible tornado that came through Seneca, the Easter evening, April 13th. So 9 months after the windstorm knocked an oak tree on top of our building. 9 months later, the tornado knocked another huge oak tree on the same part of our roof, and did a lot more damage this time. And we didn't get it repaired as quickly because there was so much damage that was done by the tornado in Seneca. There's been a lot of support behind that. T-shirts have been sold, a lot of stuff with Seneca Strong. So the city of Seneca really stepped up. So besides everything going on with the pandemic, this tornado just did horrible, horrible things to homes and buildings in Seneca. So at the time, we had to close not only because of the virus, but we were down for a couple months because of trying to get the repair done in our building. But the building is now back to normal. And hopefully there's one oak tree that's next to our building, but I was told by the man who lives next door that it's not going to fall in our building again. So we're hopeful for that. So we were closed for quite a while. A month or so ago, we opened up a members gallery. So we had some of our over 100 members entered their artwork, and it's been up in the gallery for about 6 weeks. The show closes today, as a matter of fact, at 4 o'clock, so you don't have enough time to get there and see the artwork. So that was really nice. We had a lot of response from our members, and people were able to come in during our visiting hours and see the artwork, and people commented about, the quality of the work and the variety of art that was in there. We have a lot of talented people in this area in Seneca. And we have now started doing classes. People were kind of hesitant about taking classes, but one of our board members has called people, has checked with people, and we've got probably 5 or 6 or 7 new classes that are going to be starting in the next couple of weeks. They will be obviously socially distanced in our classroom and our studio, but people are anxious to get back and create some artwork. And our next show will be opening on November 13th. It's a married couple, Tom and Terry Diamond, and the topic is called Abstract Realities. We also have a new members gallery, and we're going to have a woman who's going to have her artwork in there. And then we have studios and our foyer that will have artwork. So it will, once again, there won't be our grand opening when we serve free appetizers and wine and beer, and we have 100 or so people who come to see the artwork. So we've missed that terribly this year, but we will have art in our building, and so we're doing the best that we can. We're already planning for our shows for next year. One other thing we've gotten, because of the arts that we have done in downtown Seneca, we've gotten some support from this City Hall that they gave the Blue Ridge Art Center a nice chunk of money, and we have 3 artists who are on our members who've created some incredible murals that were hung last week around the city. And this is something that we're hoping to bring more people to see Seneca, to see the artwork, and these murals are just absolutely amazing. So we're thrilled to add as much artwork as we can to bring people to our city. So thank you for giving me a chance to talk about the Blue Ridge Art Center, sometimes more formally known as BRAC, B-R-A-C. So thank you.
Thanks, Suzette. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, I just have one more. Amanda Munyon was going to try to be with us, but she couldn't squeeze it in between carpool and all the other things she has to do. So she sent us a quick report. Lawrence County businesses seem to be doing well. They are continuing supporting local businesses through promotions, funding sources, and educational opportunities, and working together, of course. They're very excited about an announcement that Lawrence City Council voted unanimously to approve first reading of an ordinance to sell 66 acres of land to SK Builders out of Greer, with plans for a 139 home development in Lawrence. So she's excited about growth and seeing some good things happening. And that wraps me up. Mayor Roberts.
Okay, thank you, Justine. Thank you, Galen, again for the update at Tri-County Tech and the information that you're sharing. And again, thanks for all the county updates throughout the region. I don't think there's anything else we need to share. I know Dean mentioned our Celebrating Success event. I hope y'all will have an opportunity to sign up for that as we celebrate all the good things that are happening in our community. So have a happy Halloween. I guess that's very close, and be safe out there, okay? Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Suzette.
Yes, thank you, Justine. Hope I see you. I hope I get to meet you in person
I
sometime.
know, me too. I want to
Come to
come see the
Seneca.
art.
Come to Seneca and I'll give you a personal tour. All right?
Great.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.